Hello again, happy Tuesday. So, yesterday you did some really hard work. You created a thesis and you thought of two different reasons to support that thesis. Today, we're going to dive deep into the text and find some evidence to support our reasons, to prove it, right? You can't just say that, one reason that I would have thrown tea into the water is because I was not being given a fair price for tea. Well, what do you mean? Show me the proof, right? Show me the evidence from the text that you were not being given a fair price for tea. So if you look over here, I have one piece of evidence here, another piece of evidence here. Both of those support my first reason. Let's read them. For example, on page 63 of the text, it says, tea was a popular drink in the colonies. You see how I use the quotation marks? This shows that the tax was very hurtful to the colonists. For us, it would be like a tax on Dunkin' Donuts. Another example is on page 64 of the text. The author says, Parliament thought the colonists would now buy British tea again. When they did, they would be paying the tea tax. This is important because the British Parliament only lowered the price of tea so they could trick the colonists. This was not fair. So you see how both of my examples connect to the idea of the money not being fair. You also notice how I did three things. I introduced my quote, I wrote my quote, and then I unpacked it. We talk a lot about this unpacking when we're at school, and we can't forget about that part. Then I jump over here, my second reason. Another reason that I would have thrown tea into the harbor is because I deserve to have my voice heard by the British King. Okay, so this one's all about being heard. For example, on page 64 of the text, it says, quote, no taxation without representation. This was very important. This meant that the colonists would not pay taxes on tea if their voices were not represented in the British Parliament. Jump over here. My last example is on page 65 of the text. The author says that the colonists, quote, demanded that the governor of the colony order the ships to leave. This is important because even after this demand, the governor refused to make the ships leave. The colonists were being ignored. So now if we look at these two pieces of evidence, we see how they both relate to their voices not being heard. So today, you're going to have to think about, where could I find my best evidence? What chapter should I go back and look at? My question was about the Boston Tea Party, so I mostly went back to that chapter. Your question might mean that you need to go back and look at a few different chapters. Take your time and try to find evidence that really supports each reason. All right, off you go.